We have a farce of a process going on to renew logging in western Manitoba and in Duck Mountain provincial parks. We've got quiet consults, we have preposterous process, terrible timelines, we have a faulty forest inventory, and at the end of the day, we need to end park logging. I'm Eric with the Wilderness Committee and another Riverside Rant. You might recognize the banner behind me. Clear-cut Provincial Park is Manitoba's shame. We have one park left, it's Duck Mountain Provincial Park. I'm gonna give my best Katie Porter impression. Here's my whiteboard, hope you can read it. The very first piece on the whiteboard is preposterous process. And right now, until July 6th, the government is asking for public consultation on renewing the 20-year management plan, putting a new 20-year management plan in for Louisiana Pacifics for Western Manitoba. And that process started May 10th. Now, at the same time that this is going on, Louisiana Pacific hasn't had a valid forest management plan since 2005. In fact, this is their first and only one, sitting beside me. From 1996 to 2005, it was approved. So we've been waiting for years. That's 16 years we've been waiting for a new management plan. And now the government says, here's our new 20-year management plan. Last summer, before Pallister had extended the contract, again, a 2-year extension on this contract, even though it hasn't had a proper management plan since 2005, Pallister extended it. And he sent the management plan to the Clean Environment Commission. He wanted to do overhaul the management plan process that they didn't like. So they asked for the advice of the Clean Environment Commission. This is the highest environmental tribunal in the province. When you have a problem, the government sends it over to the Clean Environment Commission, they issue a report. The report came back. It's available on our website. And they gave us some information about what the management plan should look like. The things that we really liked to see was there was going to be more public engagement. The data about where the logging was occurring and those sort of things was going to be available and online. However, that process went into public consultation, and that process ended June 4th. This is kind of a preposterous process and the quiet consults. The stakeholders, people who have been working on this file since the 90s, didn't hear anything about this process. Nobody sent us an email. Nobody said, you've been involved in this file. Could you provide input for it? So nobody really knew about this. There was an Engage Manitoba survey, but as everybody has seen, Engage Manitoba surveys are enraging because they are very lopsided and one-sided with questions not aimed to garner information, but direct you towards the opinion they want you to have. So this quiet consults, that's my second piece here, quiet consults. The problem with this is that it should have, we should have known about this. The public should have known about this, or at least the people who are used to working on this and looking at forest management plans should have known this consult was going on. We don't want to argue about process, even though it's terrible. Let's talk about terrible timelines. Point number 3, I really hope you can read my horrible writing. Terrible timelines is that the process to talk about the 20-year management plan started on May 10th, but the guidelines on what a management plan are supposed to look like are only in draft stage. Public comment ended on them on June 4th, and we don't have final guidelines. We're being asked to look at the new report from the company for a 20-year plan, and we've been waiting 16 years for this, but the government isn't even waiting for us to finish sort of a review that they tasked the Clean Environment Commission with. They ordered a review, they ordered recommendations. They're not following them, they're just getting this company to submit a plan, and they say, well, we're gonna use the 2007 guidelines. Well, why did we send this to the Clean Environment Commission? Why are you wasting people's time? You're already doing the thing, and you're asking for recommendations. This is exactly the same process. Try not to get off topic, but in privatization, they asked Travel Manitoba to find a monetizing provincial parks report in October. We haven't released it to the public, but in March they went off and privatized a portion of Grass River Provincial Park and Turtle Mountain Provincial Park before the report's even publicized. So you already knew what you were going to do. Why are you asking for this report? Terrible timelines, how we shouldn't even have public comment on Louisiana Pacific's plan because we don't know what the guidelines should look like. Faulty forest inventory. Hold up my sign just in case you didn't catch them all. Fourth one is faulty forest inventory. When the plant was first issued their license back in the 90s, People had said that there's a problem with this, and then it turns out a decade later we found that they had overestimated the wood supply. And here's two articles from 06 and 07. So this isn't breaking news. We've known this for a long time. They overestimated the amount of wood that was available to that plant, in some cases by 253%. Those are huge numbers. This was a really big mistake. It was a faulty forest inventory. Someone might even say they did this on purpose, which would make it a fraudulent forest inventory. In any case, the Manitoba government now is saying we have top of the, modernist, the most modernist forest inventory. They're saying that everything is great, except that they're still working off of, in some cases, photo inventory from 1981, and they've done flyovers for this area in 2007, and the scientists, or rather the staff inside government, have said, yes, the whole forest management license, all of Louisiana Pacific's area is due for a flyover. That'll happen in the next year or two. So why are we rushing you through a 20-year plan if we don't have a proper forest inventory when we already know we had a faulty forest inventory? Like, this problem has been proven. That's faulty forest inventory. The last one, the big one, the sign behind me, end park logging. There are only 2 parks in Canada. I should probably slow down. I'm probably yelling into this microphone. There are only 2 parks in Canada being logged. It's Duck Mountain Provincial Park and Algonquin Provincial Park in Ontario. We don't need this. There's parks across the Boreal that aren't logged. We don't need to be doing this. The government's saying, oh, well, we need it for the quota holders, and Louisiana Pacific doesn't really log the parks. There's their map. You can see a couple towns. There's Swan River, there's Roblin, there's a big outline. This is their area, there's Dauphin. You know what's between those 3 towns? Duck Mountain Provincial Park. Louisiana Pacific has the forest management license for Duck Mountain Provincial Park. The Manitoba government and Louisiana Pacific need to end logging in parks. Please visit the Wilderness Committee website, learn more about this, take action, send a letter to the Manitoba government, but sign up for e-alerts because we have a lot of actions. As things open up, we're going to be doing a lot of things. This is our chance to end logging in parks. I'm Eric with a Riverside Rant on the Seine River in Winnipeg.